How to create an RSD using openRSD. To create an RSD in openRSD, you will need an openRSD login. If you do not have a login, head over to edalex.com RSDs and browse your account creation options. Today we'll be looking at a free account, which gives me the ability to create an RSD, contribute the RSD to the public RSD library, and we'll also see the option to create a collection. To start, select Login to openRSD and enter the username and password supplied by Edalex. If you've forgotten your password, select the Forgot Password option for support. You will notice on logging in that you now have an extra menu item on the left called Contribute. Select Contribute to begin contributing a rich skill descriptor. You'll be asked what type of resource you are contributing. As we are contributing a rich skill descriptor, we will use Open Rich Skill Descriptors. If we were contributing a collection, we would select Open Rich Skill Descriptors Collections. Once you have selected Open Rich Skill Descriptors, the RSD contribution form will open. This form contains all of the information required for creating an RSD according to the RSD standard. Fields labelled with a red asterisk are compulsory. Start by entering your skill name, the author, which can be an individual or a corporation, and a sentence or two that describes your skill. Now I have entered information in the compulsory fields, I can move on to the non-compulsory fields and I can start to select the types of metadata I would like to contribute with my RSD. Keywords are important for machine and human readability and searchability. Add each keyword as a single word or phrase, and after each, select the Add button. If you have added a word that you would later like to remove, simply select Delete. The next option gives you the option to add metadata, and the metadata can be qualifications, occupations, categories, or alignments. Each of these is added to the menu on the right. You can enter one or many, or none at all. Depending on the metadata that you would like to add, select the options, and you will be presented with pages to enter this metadata as we move through the RSD contribution form. If there are employers or industries who require your skill for a given job, enter those here. Notice that if it is a term used before, it will be suggested to you, and you can highlight and select it. You can enter multiple employers or industries. After each, select the Select option. Each RSD is allocated a skill ID automatically, and this skill ID is unique to the RSD. The skill ID also has the RSD version number. This is important for identifying if the RSD is the most recent or if there are more recent versions. Once you've completed all the information on the first page of the form, select Next. You will notice that Next takes you to the next page, which is one of the metadata categories that you selected. In this case, qualifications. There are a number of options here for you to select from. These all have taxonomies behind them. If I choose the Australian Qualifications Framework, for example, and I choose Select Terms, I'm given terms from that particular framework. I can select a few, add them to my RSD, and they will appear listed. If there is any I wish to remove, I can simply select delete. If the particular qualification framework or taxonomy you require is not included here, select manual entries and you can manually enter the data you require. For additional fields, simply keep selecting add. Occupations is the next page, and we selected occupations as one of the metadata fields that we would like to add to our RSD. Occupations is similar to qualifications in that you are given a number of options which have taxonomies. If I select the ANZS CO framework and go select terms, I can now select occupations from that framework. I can add these to my RSD. I can add numerous, or I can add just one or two. When I select OK, the selected terms appear in a list on my RSD, and I can remove and edit as I desire. Similarly to qualifications, if none of the frameworks here are applicable to my RSD, I can select manual entries and manually enter the occupations data. I can add additional fields as I need to. Categories is the next page in our RSD form, as we selected categories as one of the metadata fields that we would like to enter. Similarly to qualifications and occupations, a number of taxonomies are available to select from, or we can select manual entries to add our categories information manually. And of course, we have the option to add more than one. Notice that you can only select one option here. And this is the same for any of the taxonomy selections. Once we've entered our category information, select Next and move on to alignments. Again, alignments was an RSD metadata field that we'd selected that we would like to add. Note that if you would like to go back and edit any of your alignments, you can do so by clicking on them from the right-hand menu button. And in this case, I've not entered a value into these fields, so openRSD is prompting me to do so. There we go. I'll go back to one I created earlier. Enter your alignment information. Move on to the next field. The final page of the RSD deals with rights and licenses for the RSD. The compulsory field here is the Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike license acknowledgement. You must tick the I agree. If there are other rights and licenses you'd like to add, please use the remaining fields to do so. Once you have finished completing all the information for your RSD, you're able to browse back through the information you have added, check and edit any of the entries, and then press Save once you are complete. You'll notice that you have a few options here. In this case, I've not completed some fields, so it's giving me the option to save it as a draft, to cancel creating this RSD, or to complete the wizard. Let's complete the wizard, which is add some manual information. And remove some superfluous fields. And select Save again. Because my RSD is full of information that I really don't want to publish, I'm going to select Save Draft. If I was happy that this RSD was complete and all the information in it was publishable, I'd select Publish and it would go into the openRSD public library. If I select Save Draft, I get a successfully saved notification, and I can check my RSD. I can see all of the information I've entered. I can even check the JSON file and see what information would be shared to someone who was downloading this file and uploading this RSD into a compatible system. You can see that this has been saved as version 1, and if it happened to be a new version, I could select Show All and see the version history. As this is a draft and only I can see it at this time, I can edit the version. And as I move through, you can see all of the pages of the RSD. Or I can cancel out of there. I can delete the version, create a new version, so this becomes version 2. I can clone it, or I can do a new contribution. When I go back into search and look for my RSD in the public collection, you'll notice I can't find it. This is not the teamwork that I have done. This is a teamwork collection, and in it, there are 3 RSDs. So my draft RSD is not visible to the general public. To find the RSD that I have kept in draft status, I can go to My Resources, Drafts, and there's my RSD, ready for editing or ready to save and share. If I have more than one in draft, I can select the next button, and I can scroll through all of my draft RSDs. When I've published an RSD, it will appear in the public library with all of the other RSDs and collections.